Gemini. It's umomgtarot, and this is your November tarot card reading. So we're going to see what comes up for you, and then we're going to do a tarot card spread, figure out what's going in for the month of November. Alright, Gemini. It's your turn, baby. Get her butts. Oops. Oh, we're dealing with relationships, are we? Libra. The energy is diplomatic and gracious. It seeks harmony and balance in relationships. So some of you guys, it's relationships, it's coupling. We're talking about that this month. But for others, it's business partnerships and relationships in the family, friendships, finding balance within. We got some more air energy with Gemini. Gemini's own Gemini. The energy is communicative, mischievous, lively, witty, and informative. Stimulating exchange is possible, and you know how Geminis be with the... Okay, first of all, we're using a lot of mental energy this month. Alright, so a lot of you are going to need your coffee, some of you are going to need your yoga, and a lot of you are going to have to start reading so that you have a broader vocabulary, because we're using a lot of words this month. Lots of air energy. And finally we have Virgo. The energy is around you is dutiful, hesitant, and humble, with a discriminating, diligent, and painstaking air. Virgo is, you think Virgo, you think health, hygiene, you think work, right? You think work-life balance, because they're very private about their private lives. You feel me? But I feel like there's going to be a lot of mental gymnastics, intellectual use as it relates to your work, as it relates to your health. So you're going to have to be thinking, putting your thinking caps on, and it's going to be relative to the people in your life. And also I noticed there's a lot of, there's 2 indicators, 2 of 3 of balance with the Libra card and Gemini. Because Gemini, they're the twins, and Libra, they're the scale, they're the justice scales, so they're all about finding balance. Let's have a look at your tarot spread. So choices, boom, lots of thinking to do. We're doing a lot of thinking. Some of you guys have options in front of you, and you have to choose because it will have a significant impact on your path, and that matters to you. It's something that you feel with your heart. That is an important decision to be made. All right, and then we have our dear friend again, the Hermit. Associated with Virgo. That's why I said that. But the Hermit's like, you got to search within to figure out the answers to what you're doing. You got to look at other people's experiences. You got to do the research work. Right? And you got to keep your mouth shut and your ears open and your eyes open. All them things. Right? Don't know it all. Go learn. But then, that's funny. It's like, it's almost like you have to do some investigation work. And now that we're hovering over relationships, I'm hoping that it's not, you have to go look up into this partner. That you have to Google search this person that you're dealing with. Boom, more thinking. You're gonna have to make a decision. So much choice in the beginning of the month. I feel like you have to find something out. I think something has to come to light. And it's either you have to do a solo search, you have to go rogue and do a search. And I'm talking about somebody that you know, because this is about relationships. It could be a relationship, like romantic relationship, a friendship, some type of partnership that you don't want to. It's almost like you have a feeling, you don't want to face the truth, you don't want to be a snake, you don't want to look into stuff. But it's almost like you probably should. You probably should, because if you go with your gut, you feel like there's something to look into at all. It's almost like you're putting the blindfolds on and not really dealing with what you think might happen. This is like when you feel like your spouse is cheating, but you don't want to ask or anything because you don't want to ruin your happy home and stuff. It's like, that's almost enabling. Okay, but that's interesting. You have a lot to think about. There's a lot of choices that you have to make, and you have to make the choice on your own. Definitely from those 3 cards. Alright, then we have the Page of Swords, 2 of Pentacles in reverse, having a hard time juggling, having a hard time finding balance, but you get lucky. That's good. That is good. Because we start with the Page of Swords, who could be somebody that I associate a lot of the time, and this is why Geminis don't like me that much, is they associate the Page of Swords with Gemini because the gossip, right? And if there's anyone good at gossip, that's Gemini. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, because I love to watch reality TV. I'm here for it. But the talking, if you need somebody to negotiate your deal and use the charm, use the charisma, you know, or you need somebody to get you out of a ticket, or, you know, talk down a bargain. Like, get a Gemini, because then they'll use their dimples or something, and then they'll be like, you don't say, hey, let me shave 10% off, man. Gemini stuff. All right, so I feel like you're having a hard time finding balance, but I think that may be because there's an imbalance when it comes to this gossip stuff that's going on. I think we have to do research when we're talking about this finding balance thing in this area. But in this one, it's like, okay, maybe you were told to make the decision solo on your own. Go inward to make this decision about whomever. Because here it's like you have a lot of people in your head, in your ear, gossip. You're hearing a lot. So you have to kind of sift through what's gossip. What have you heard this gossip based versus what have you just, you know, you have a gut instinct. Don't be like, I heard from Nene, from Devante that, you know, Alwyn was seen at this club 3 years ago. That's not a hunch, okay? If you go like something's off in your energy and like, I don't know, like I feel like you're lying to me or something, like caught you in 3 lies today, like I feel like there's one more. That's a hunch, you know? Know the difference. Okay, so but like you're having a hard time finding balance, whatever the imbalance is, you know, that's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of gossip and a lot of fluff around it. There's clouds everywhere. So if any of you guys are dealing with, I guess, finding balance in your relationships and hearing a lot of gossip about your friends or about your relationship, I think approaching it not with the gossip as facts would probably be the best. But I think the outcome will likely turn out in a way that you don't expect if you confront somebody over that. But I really think that you just have these options and you putting the blinders on some issue, and then it's becoming gossip, it's becoming a bigger thing. If you're not handling it, if you're not finding balance, you're not managing it, it can get out of control. It can turn into something else. You know, rumors can become true. I don't know, you know, I feel like you gotta sort your stuff out so that it doesn't turn into a big mess. And I think that for some of you, you guys are in denial in some area in your relationship. Holding back, Virgo being conservative again, with the Ace of Wands. Again, this is more like you being conservative, being reserved. You may even be dealing with somebody who's being reserved and conservative, and you go, oh, they're just very private, but they're really just holding back. You know, they're really just keeping their separate lies separate and trying to have some mystique to them. No, you're just a liar. You're just a liar, kind of. You're just hiding something. Ace of Wands. I feel like this may be the light at the end of the tunnel here. You know, out of this limbo, or this, like, I don't know what decision to make. I don't know what choice. It's almost like you get forced to make a decision. But this isn't necessarily that. I feel like that's where these things ultimately lead. But this Four of Pentacles means that somebody is holding back. It's either you. Now, that could be you're in this relationship with it could be a Virgo, of course. It could be Libra, Gemini, but it could be a Virgo. And if it's somebody who's giving off Virgo qualities, or just giving Virgo energy for the situation, they're being very reserved. They're holding back. You know, they're disappearing, and then they're coming back later and saying, oh yeah, I was sleeping. Oh yeah, my phone was off. Oh yeah, I was, you know, they're doing the shady stuff that like the dark side of Virgo would do. They're being very reserved. They're being conservative. They're not sharing you with anyone. All those things that being tangibly conservative mean is what they could be doing. I feel like this situation works itself out, but it feels like I dodged a bullet situation, if I'm being honest. Then we have the Ace of Wands, who's like, this is like a spark that ignited and then didn't work out the way, but I feel like that's in a transformative way. Like, Wheel of Fortune makes things work out for you with this person, but it may not be with this person, but it may be about this person. Like, you meet somebody who's amazing, 10 times better, this person ends up being like, oh, she was the one who got away. Like, I feel like things work out. Then we have the Eight of Swords, but I think you realize that, especially in the first part of this reading, where the blindfold is on. Blindfold's on again. There's stagnation, there's holding back, there's more being conservative on the tail end of the reading, because there's just, I would think that this is stuff that somebody's holding back from you. They're not telling you certain things, or they're not giving you their whole selves. That's a reason to walk away to begin with. But I feel like you're pretending that doesn't bother you. Eight of Swords here is saying that you're just kind of pretending you're stuck in the situation when you're more than free to leave. You know, you're free to cut yourself loose and take the initiative and do that. But I feel like this may be a situation where with this person you just want to go down with the ship, but you're not admitting that to yourself. You're just pretending, you know, that's not what's happening because you're hoping for the best. You want to hope. Don't be in a relationship where you want to hope for the best. You want to know you have the best and then hope that it continues. None of that. None of that. All right, so 8 of Swords on the tail end of your reading is like, it. I know people don't like it, but I go, okay, well, at least you have the power. You have the power to cut yourself free. Oh, look at that. That's not a dream. Great. You have the power to cut yourself free. You have the power to take the blindfolds off and see your situation for what it is and address it accordingly, you know? Trust and believe. Just you have the right to anybody who's being shady in your life to be like, trust and believe. You will be dealt with. And you can expand your hips if you want to look like that lady while doing so. Alright, so alright, there it is. That is your reading for November. Looks like some of you guys may be cutting the fat. Use them swords to trim the fat from the people who are just taken, you know, taken but not equally giving, or maybe just take a step back. I don't really like cutting people off like that. Those are from my youthful years when there were people to cut off. All right, so there it is. That's your reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.